It is race time here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, everybody, as we are getting set for the first of 4 races to unfold over this weekend in the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup as part of the GRIDLIFE Midsummer Meet. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer. Great to have you with us here at this legendary sports car course for what should be an absolutely fascinating race, joined by Alex Moss, last year's Street Mod Track Attack champ. When you look at the grid, top 11 covered by 0.8 of a second. That's insanely close, and that means this is just going to be a cracker of a race.
Yeah, hopefully it means we're going to get a great race, good battles for the front, but it really shows the level of balance of power that we have in GLTC, that we're that close, that deep into the field.
Well, and the diversity of cars up and amongst those top 11, you know, you've got V8s, you've got, I mean, pretty much everything in the mix here. That level of diversity in that close of a grouping really, to me, indicates rules makers got this pretty close to right.
Yep. Yeah, I think the entry list shows that as well. That we've got a lot of people here that are close, and we've got a lot of people that show up to want to race in this rule set.
Now, as often happens after any session, but it's always pretty crucial after qualifying, there have been some developments. Let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, one of the top guns in this championship, Andy Smedegard.
Yes, so Andy set his fastest time after the checkered flag, so after the end of the session. So that first time that we saw him set has been deleted, and he dropped back down to 7th.
And then another big story is the one involving Austin Hertel.
Yep, so Austin's, we talked about this in qualifying, but Austin's been having some troubles with that car and just getting it dialed in. One of those problems is it getting stuck in gear in the transmission. During qualifying, he got stuck in 4th. He's still going to start the race. I believe he's going to start from the back of the grid, and he's going to try and complete the race all in one gear.
That's going to be fascinating to see. You said the gear it's stuck in is probably the right gear for this track, at least.
Yeah, if I was going to be stuck in a gear, 4th is probably the gear I'm choosing.
And you can see the field starting to queue up down on the pre-grid as we're getting ready for the first of 4 races. And this is going to be absolutely crucial because how your speed in this race determines your starting lineup for race 2. So even if you've got a problem here, you've got to try and do something about getting a lap. Would you even maybe, if you're in traffic, find a little bit of a gap early while your tires are still pretty fresh and then just try and throw down a lap knowing it's going to be crucial for the first of the races tomorrow?
I think some people will do that. Some competitors maybe that didn't qualify quite where they wanted to for this race will try and have a mind to that fastest lap. I think the people at the front, the top 10, are going to be all shooting for that win, though, because that's what delivers the points. But it is a unique scenario that we've got where we're competing for 2 things in this race. First is the points for the race. The second is fastest lap sets the grid for tomorrow. So it's almost a qualifying session and a race.
Yeah, actually, that's a very solid point about it sort of having a dual purpose here, and it always plays into it because it can kind of domino. If you get a bad lap in this race, you start back in the pack for tomorrow's race. Tomorrow's race finishing order depends how you run in the 3rd race. So if you're mired in the pack, I mean, it can really affect things. So you've got to get it right. And one of the things you've got to deal with is a very technical, what I call a driver's track, a track where a driver can make a heck of a difference here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Let's take a look at it. There you are, front straight. First turn, fastest turn on the track. It's a blind approach under a bridge. So you commit at great speed here. You turn in earlier than you'd think because you want to flow speed. You want to use all the curb on the exit. The track actually comes up a little bit, so you actually get a little bit more grip on the exit. Then into the keyhole. You want to late apex that to get a huge run out, float through this kink, absolutely flat out, and then into the area where if you run wide here in 4, you're in China Beach. You're up into madness right now. Big jump right there over 7. Huge jump right at the apex there in 9. Run through Thunder Valley. It dips, then climbs up to 11. Another blind apex. And then the carousel, Alex, obviously also really important. You want to late apex that out of 12 to get that run back onto the front straight. This is all done in 2.25 miles, so you don't really get a lot of rest here at this track. And look at here. This shot shows you Madness on the right and Thunder Valley on the left.
Yeah, it's a beautiful track. It's got a lot of elevation changes. Cars are busy, drivers are busy throughout the whole lap. As a spectator here, between our last session, I went and rode around the grounds. It's a really beautiful place to be and a beautiful place to go and watch the cars go around the track.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of a park-like setting in many ways, and it's a great place to come and watch racing. Just a lot of fun here, and it's great to have this field here. We've got a big field. Almost 40 cars are going to be setting off here on this rather short track, and that keeps things interesting.
Yep, always. Not only are you always dealing with the direction of the track and the elevation changes, you're going to be in traffic basically the whole race.
And one of the big things with this series is no contact. And they made a really good point. When they talk of overlap, we're not talking about you've got to have your car a halfway alongside or 2/3. If you've just got overlap where your front end of your car is up to the rear wheels of the other car, that other car then has to give you that little bit of racing room. And that's one of the things, folks, that I really, really like about this championship. I've been a lifelong believer that if you've got it stuck around the outside or around the inside, and you can stay there, you've earned that piece of racetrack. This series respects that.
Yep, that's right. There is, as far as I'm aware, no circumstance where a driver has the right to run another car off the road. You always must leave room to another car, whether that's on the inside or on the outside. And yeah, contact is not tolerated in any way, shape, or form.
And they really kind of went through that in the drivers' meeting, and I thought one of the lines that was really, really good there was the fact that Scott Giles made the comment. He goes, if you take the space going in, be prepared to give it going out. And I think that really is good, and it makes for some great racing. We've seen already this season where, 2x2 through 3, 4, 5 straight corners. That's spectacular stuff. Let's get you through the starting lineup. On the pole is Eric Coutil, third in the points, coming in 2 wins this year. The 94 of Tom O'Gorman on the outside, 4 wins, but only 10th in the points after missing a couple of rounds. Inside of row 2, the 190 of Aaron Lichty, leading in the points by 8, 3 wins on the season. Then starting in the 4th spot, by virtue of that problem for Andy Smedegaard, will be Jeremy Swenson. 5 wins on the year, winningest driver, second in the points right now in that thundering number 30 Corvette. Starting 5th will be the 61 of DJ Alessandrini, a couple of top 10s this year. Then starting in the 6th spot, number 7, Luke McGrew, 4th in the points with 2 wins this year. Then it'll be Andy Smedegaard starting in the 7th spot. He too has 4 wins, sits 8th in the points right now. Then starting 8th, the number 14 of Emil Tab, 5th in the points right now, 6 podiums so far this year. Then Austin Hertel, qualified 9th. He can start there if he wants, but as we said, he may have dropped back just to not be a problem at the start. Starting in the 10th spot, the 27 of Scott McGee. Starting in the 11th spot, the 184 of Eric Jensen. He's at a podium this year. And 12th, the 202 of Jake Price. 13th will be the 92 of Marcus Luttrell. 14th, the 26 of Louis Chattroop. Starting 15th, the 484 of Matan Rosenberg. In 16th, the 188 of Daniel Howard. Starting in the 17th spot, number 13, Ryan Upton. Starting 18th, the 187 of Chris Adams. Starting in the 19th spot, the 101 of Gary Wimble. And rounding out the 10th row, the number 113 of Wesley Penn. Starting on the inside of the 11th row, the number 28 will be Steve Pruden. Starting in 22nd will be the 42 of Zach Lavoie. Starting in the 23rd spot will be number 3, Eric Meadows, who's had a podium this year. And the number 24th starting spot will be the 33 of Justin Lee, also with a podium this year. Starting in the 25th spot, the number 18 of Colton Wade. Starting 26th, the 777 of Ron Solomon. Starting 27th, the 213 of Scott Robertson. Starting 28th, the 159 of Joshua Rubenstein. Starting 29th, the number 6 of Ryan Christoph. Starting 30th, the number 24 of Dustin Barty. Starting 31st, the 261 of Brad Kosiba. Starting 32nd, the 102 of Andrew Work. Starting 33rd, the 46 of Team Griffin. That is a father and son team that change off as the season unfolds. Starting in the 34th spot, the 515 of Thomas Moss. Starting 35th, 106 Michael Kritikos. Starting 36th, the 898 of Brian DeFries. Starting 37th, the 541 of Seth Gale. Starting 38th, the 182 of Max Lupfer. And rounding out the field, starting 39th, the 71 of Joel Morrison, who has a podium in a couple of top 5s, really didn't get the qualifying run that Joel wanted, and that we certainly know he's capable of. So as I said, big field, and they are out. Now, as you see there, the pace car, Alex, has headed off, but they won't start here on this front straight. They actually start back on the back stretch, as they call it.
That's right. So what we'll see here as they come up through turn 1 and approach the keyhole is they will start lining up side by side in rows 2 by 2 basically, and you're supposed to keep just a 1.5 car length gap between the car and in front. So you're not supposed to lag back. Just try and get a jump on the start, but try and keep that pack tight, and then everybody goes when the green flag waves, which will be halfway down that back straight.
Yeah, some Pro Series, they have a rule at the start when the green waves, you have to wait till you cross the starting line. Here, when it's green, as they say. Boy, a couple of cars getting antsy already coming out of turn one. The interesting thing here is going to be that bright purple Corvette because that is Swenson, and he has shown the willingness to really launch in the early going here, and we'll see just what he's going to be able to do as the cars come around. And it looks like he's starting up in the 4th spot. So am I missing something here? I see there's Lady Alessandro's not up there right now, is he? Well, we're going to find out how this plays out as we are coming to the green. Wait for it. Down this long back stretch. Race 1 about to unfold. We're green! Nice start, but look at Swenson in the Corvette looking to the outside, trying to do something. Lichty trying to find a way through 2. He's up to the inside, and look at Swenson. He's around side O'Gorman, but on the brakes, O'Gorman running the wide line. We call it the Tracy line if you're an IndyCar fan. And O'Gorman side by side with Coutil up and around the top of turn 5 through the S's. And finally, Coutil able to slot in and take the spot. Swenson jumps into 3rd, Lichty in 4th.
Yeah, it really looked like Jeremy had got by Tom O'Gorman there at the start, but under the braking for China Beach, Tom just pulled away, just was able to brake a little bit later and maintain that position.
Yeah, you can run that little wider angle around turn 4 there, and Tom played that to perfection, but Coutil just had that line dialed up. Now, up through turn 11, this is how quick you complete a lap here, heading into the carousel. Watch him diamond it here. You in early, float out just a little bit, then get back to that apex, grab the throttle. Boy, and O'Gorman went to throttle. You can see that Honda pushed just a little bit and gave Coutil just a little bit of a margin here as they're both opening up about a couple of car lengths lead back to Swenson.
Yeah, coming through, it looks like we're mostly holding station. Not a whole lot of position changes that I can see here, but I'm sure that's going to change as we go through this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out for Swenson here. Because, again, he's running a lot heavier car, and he's running on those street tires. He's got the power, obviously. But this is a track that, there's a lot of flow here, and sometimes you're not that heavy on the brakes. So that might help him here, but he's certainly going to use up those tires. And here he goes, taking a run at O'Gorman. This is the one long dyno run here. Coutil looks really good here, and O'Gorman going to be really stout on the brakes and fends off Swenson again. But that battle, I think, is going to rage for a while.
I think so, too. I think it's kind of critical for Jeremy to get ahead of these two cars at the start of the race. What we've seen in the past is Jeremy's car, maybe on those street tires, tends to fade towards the end. So it's kind of imperative for him to get past these two cars, build a bit of a lead, so that when those race tires come into their own and his tires start to fade, he's got that cushion that he can defend.
You can see groups starting to pack up pretty much throughout the field here, and with a field this big, you tend to find drivers that are racing about your same pace, and you get into these great duels. Remember, folks, huge variety of cars, one class, and that's one of the things that's absolutely great about the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup is this power to weight equalizing formula, and then it changes a little bit with aero and the like, but it keeps even this wide disparity of cars really, really close and keeps it exciting here. Turn 1, again, we talk about just floating big speed through that corner. Yeah, a little scrap behind that top 4. There's DJ Alessandrini. I don't know why he dropped back a little bit, but he's attacking right now in McGrew for that 4th spot right now. Excuse me, that 5th spot.
Yeah, and Luke's not going to give up that position easily. He is a fierce competitor on the track, and DJ's got his work cut out for him if he wants to get past Luke.
And you can see Smedegard right there. I think that's Emil Tab, who started in the 8th spot and was able to jump around Smedegard. Here we go, the big move possibly here. Down to the inside, McGrew fighting hard. DJ has his nose there, so here we go in that side-by-side formation. And McGrew has that line. Now let's see, can DJ surprise him down maybe into turn 6? No, did not. Settled right back in again, but boy, right now that's we got Emil Tab really putting the pressure on with Smedegard right behind him. So that is a great 4-car battle right now for that 5th spot.
Yeah, we've got about 4 cars covered in the space of where maybe 6 could fit if they were parked.
Exactly.
But everybody giving each other space. I mean, no risk really that we're seeing to any cars. Everybody's being fair. Everyone's being firm, but they're coming through there safely and protecting the equipment.
Well, I think that's a matter of the respect that is really everybody gets everybody, but it's constantly they're reminded of it in the meetings. Look, respect your competitors. These are your friends. You want to end this weekend wherever you finish smiling and having fun, and that's why it didn't surprise me there to see that DJ didn't make a big surprise lunge down into turn 6, because they talk about if you look in your mirror and you think that guy behind you can't reasonably get to the apex before you, then you can start to plan to turn in. And if DJ had lunged, that wouldn't have been reasonable.
Right. Yeah. There's certainly an anti-dive bomb philosophy here that you can't just dive on someone under the brakes. But I mean, these cars make speed in different ways. So some cars will be able to brake better than others.
And there you see that absolutely displayed as Swenson that time was absolutely alongside O'Gorman. That lighter, nimbler S2000, a little bit deeper on the brakes, and he was able to hang on to it. The one thing I think Swenson might be surprised with is it doesn't happen often, but that Porsche of Lichty, that car is staying right with Swenson in the horsepower runs, and checked in with Aaron, and he said, one, I wanted to bring the Porsche out. Oh, we got somebody that has run off track and is parked over there. Couldn't quite pick up that number. I don't know if you recognize that car that was parked.
No, it looked like a Red Miata. I'm not sure. It didn't look like Scott Robertson's, but that's the only Red Miata that comes to mind right now. Hopefully it's not going to impact the race, though, and it's in a safe area where we can just keep it under a local yellow.
Lichty got down to the inside of Swenson, coming through the last turn, 13. Does he have the overlap? He does not. Swenson, just that little bit of extra horsepower, got him to clear him as they got up to turn 1 so that he had a free run through that corner. But Lichty's got the right idea there. Get that nose up inside and try and rattle Swenson a bit. But that's what I'm talking about. Usually there, Swenson would just pull away from whoever's behind him. And at that point, Lichty was staying right in his mirrors.
Yep, and I think Andy Smedegaard just attempted to pass Aaron Lichty. And I've not seen him come around.
No, or I don't think we've seen DJ come through either. So that's a bit of an issue here as we're watching this once again. There's Lichty. And as I was saying, I checked in with him, and he said the Porsche really likes the quote-unquote pro tracks where there's a little bit more open space to really run. And he said that's why he wanted to bring it. He said, plus the other thing is, he said, I love the other cars. He loves his Mazda. He said, I wanted to bring this Porsche out so that people can see just how fast these other cars are. Again, he said, but yeah, I thought I could do better with the Porsche here.
Sure.
And that's the racer in him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody's friends here, but make no mistake, there's plenty of people here that want to win and are going to push to win. These are competitive folks that are out here playing. So while they're friends, while they're going to give respect.
We may have a full course caution here. Yep, there comes the pace car. And I think it might be because of Smedegaard, D'Alessandro, and maybe Emil Tab, because they've just sort of vanished from the back here. McGrew is still right there, sitting in 7th, but now it's the 184 of Eric Jensen has moved up and taken over that 6th spot. So something happened there. We couldn't quite see what it was, but Jensen, he's running that, I think that's the LS engine-swapped Scion FRS.
Yes, it is. I mentioned before that I didn't think there was a V8 FRS, but I was quickly corrected by the internet, and was.
It's merciless, isn't it?
It is.
So that's one of the cars, but I think there's a couple others that have had something come around as well. Like we said, we don't see Smedegaard, we don't see DJ.
Yep. Yeah,
nor Emil. So
that Red Miata we saw before whatever this incident is. And then just as the camera cut away, we saw Andy Smedegaard move to the inside of Aaron Lichty. Oh, not Aaron Lichty, but the winning Formula Miata.
Yes.
And they did not come out of the keyhole. Or we did not see them come out of the keyhole.
Yeah, there's a sizable gap behind McGrew. So under an early caution here, and again, these are 15-minute races. So if you have a caution like this, it really eats into the race time. And remember, at this stage, it's imperative to get a really good lap here in the early going. And at this point, it looks like Coutil would have the quickest lap with O'Gorman sitting in the 2nd spot. They're the only guys into the 135s at this part of the event. Then the 36-2 That's a 2.4 for Swenson, a 36.27 for Lichty. But quicker than them is McGrew at a 36.1, so he would essentially be third at this point, and that's obviously extremely crucial to be able to turn those laps and get that. We talked about it. Get one in early, because you never know when something like this is going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to plan for this kind of thing. Yeah.
So at this point, everybody gets to sort of ease back and rethink things, and there comes, I think that's the flat toe to help get that car out of the way.
Yeah, so I have still not seen Andy Smedegard's car or Emil Tab or DJ Alessandrini's car either. I was expecting to be able to see them somewhere around the keyhole there, but I did not see them. I'm assuming they got them moving again.
I wonder if either they're a ways off the track and out of camera view, or they were able to limp around and get into pit lane maybe.
Yeah, this car at the back here may be Emil Tab at the back of the line.
It could be, doesn't it?
So that's good news that he's back and moving again under his own power and actually rejoining the race. Still, obviously, Andy Smedegard and DJ Alessandrini that we haven't been able to see yet.
Well, and Emil was behind those two, I believe, so he may have just ended up taking evasive.
True.
And just lost a lot of track position, which at this place is pretty crucial. One thing about this track, it's challenging and the like, but it is one of the challenges here is not necessarily the easiest place to pass. Down at the end of that long back straight, but you could see if you're on the inside and have better brakes, you can make it work. But Tomo showed you can also do outside, but that's really the one place that is an easy pass, if you will.
Yeah. From what I've seen of this track, it seems like it should be, a difficult place to race and a difficult place to get alongside somebody and make a pass happen. So, yeah, I can see that definitely being true.
Well, and one of the things is, when you just look at the map, you'd think, well, turn 9 maybe you could do something. Yeah, but the map doesn't show that big jump right at the apex.
Right.
Where if you get down underneath somebody, you're both going to get light coming over that, and that's when things can get a bit sticky.
Yes.
As it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Coutil, O'Gorman, Swenson in the podium positions right now. Then Lichty, McGrew, Jensen, Upham. He's always been every race he's run, he's just always lurking, it seems. Upham is right up in that top group, keeping everybody honest. Ryan doing a nice job. Then McGee, Chat Troop, and the 188 of Howard. So Emil Tab apparently ducked into the pit, so maybe he was involved a little bit, ducked into the pits and came back out again. In terms of DJ Alessandrini, we're not exactly sure about that, nor Smedegard at this point, so we're flying a little blind here, but that certainly is why we think we're under caution. As we said, they both may be in the pits at this point.
Yeah, still unsure where they are. So, yeah, no news really at this time.
And right there under that bridge in the shot, that red bridge, that's where you get a very light moment as the elevation is significant. And then right at the bottom of the screen, that apex on that curbing, right where you apex, which is that tightest point to the inside of the corner, is where there's a big rise and drop. And if you don't get the car turned in at the right point, you can either be too conservative, really square it up too much, and then you're slow out all the way through Thunder Valley. But if you overshoot, really easy to get off on the outside there. One of those commitment meters, as we like to call it.
Absolutely, yeah. and it does. It's a roller coaster ride for sure. As you come through turn 9 and the car just falls, or the track falls away from you, and the car starts to move towards the outside of the track. And then as the track levels out again, everything grips up and you kind of take off down to Thunder Valley.
And having a look here, Alessandrini, Smedegard, and unfortunately Matan Rosenberg at the back. And it looks like Austin Hertel decided not to run. He hasn't completed any laps, and he may have just decided that would just be too much. But Alessandrini, but this is interesting. He turned a 136.1, so it's not quite into that 135 range of those top two guys. So he's going to be starting well up in the race tomorrow. That's the good news for him. And our understanding now, we just got word from race control that Smedegaard is in fact off track, and they think it's in a rather sketchy location. And so they are going to have to go and extract him here. And I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get back to green in this one as a result.
No, it looks like they were just given the white flag.
Okay.
I've also heard that it's potentially somewhere between 2 and 3 that Andy's located. So yeah, not sure exactly where they are, but hopefully they can get that car out safely. Hopefully everybody is okay and ready to go for the next race tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I'm again looking at the qualifying and how competitive it was, looking at the times and how close they were at this point up until we had that caution. This, I think, is going to be a really good race tomorrow as well. And unfortunately, we didn't see what happened there with Smedegaard and Alessandrini. And as we said, they really work to not have contact here, but it's racing, and every once in a while, every once in a while, you're going to have that little bit here. And, we didn't see it, so it's possible that one of them broke.
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
other guy just couldn't avoid him, too. So, and those are things not a lot you can do about it. So we think this will probably be the final lap. So the order as they run right now will be the one. And I just took a look again at the times, and it was Coutil at a 1:35.6, fast lap of the race, O'Gorman at a 1:35.8, and then McGrew at a 1:35.9. Those should be the top 3. And then it looked to me, as I was checking it out here, that DJ Alessandrini has turned the next fastest lap, a good one, at a 1:36.1. So he should start outside of row 2 with Smedegaard at a 1:36.6. So I'm trying to see if anybody was, there were a couple of there's a 1:36.4, 1:36.2, Lichty a 1:36.2, Swenson a 1:36.2 as well. So Smedegaard will be back just a little bit in the order, but DJ, boy, he threw one down before this happened, so that's going to pay out big for him tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting, as we talked about, tomorrow's race, finishing order decides where you start in race 3, correct?
Correct, that's right. So tomorrow's first race, or race 2, the grid order is determined by fast lap here, and there we see the cars. And they look, at first glance, to be relatively intact, so that's obviously very good news.
And checkered flag flies, indeed. You hate to see it happen behind the pace car, but every once in a while, that's just how things go here. So Coutil gets another win, and he's having a good season. Of course, the defending season champion, that's his 3rd win on the year. And O'Gorman comes through with a 2nd-place finish. Swenson, another podium. He has had a great run this year as well. Lichty in 4th. McGrew will round out the top 5. Then Jensen, Upham, McGee, Chatroop, and Howard round out the top 10. But your podium, Coutil, O'Gorman, and Swenson. And it's important to remember here, you get points for each of the races, but at the end of the 4 races, they combine them, and the very prestigious part of the weekend is the guy with the most, or girl with the most points at the end of those 4 races gets the weekend winner plaque, and that's an important one.
That's right, yeah. So the event itself is judged on the combination of those 4 races and the accumulation of points across the 4 races. So that's what determines the winner for this weekend, and that's what gets then applied to the championship.
Now, the question is, and you've been around this for a bit, obviously, tomorrow, we had 1 race today with an early practice and a qualifying. Tomorrow, it gets busy. We have race 2, then we do the shootout. They're bringing the shootout back, which I can't wait to find out, which will be was it the top 10?
Yep, top 10 finishers from race 2 will advance to the shootout, where they will do a single flying lap to determine the grid for race 3.
And then from 11th on back, it's as we saw, finishing order.
As we finish, yeah.
And so then we get race 3, then we've got some other stuff, and then we finish with race 4. So tomorrow, a busy day. So in your experience now, this is the one day you've got time between one of the races and the next ones. Cars that were struggling, obviously, that have issues they're going to fix, but big maybe overhauls working on setup and the like tonight, because tomorrow, when it gets going, it's pretty quick. Yeah,
tomorrow there's not going to be too much of a chance to fix everything. There we see The 2 cars driving off.
Oh, look at the
DJ's
crabbing
does-
there for DJ.
Yeah, DJ's does not look like it's driving straight, unfortunately.
No.
I did hear, as we were going through there, that both of the drivers are reporting back that they're okay, which is obviously the most important thing of
By
this.
far. Yeah, but yeah, DJ's car definitely has some sort of an issue, and Smedgard running fairly slowly as well. And we have seen this year that if there's a team out there that can make a fix in a hurry, it's the ASM team, yeah?
Yes, we were fortunate to, or unfortunate to see Tom manage to have an engine expire at race 1 at Autobahn Country Club. And in the 3 hours between race 1 and race 2, the team managed to get that engine swapped and get the car back out on track.
Yeah, 90 minutes, I think they got
Yep,
it done. Wasn't
it was.
I mean, the engine that they took out was still warm.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It was still warm. Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yep.
And I'm going to give a big shout out to Luke McGrew, because he understands when you got a series whose TV coverage is fairly drone oriented. Big number 7 on the roof of that car.
Yep.
Like you, Luke. You just became a favorite for sure. So as the pack is heading down and heading into the paddock here, obviously the top 3 will be doing a bit of celebrating, but everybody will be getting ready for a busy, busy day tomorrow. And to give you an idea, our stream will be coming back at you at about 9:30 tomorrow morning. That's Eastern time, local time here, with the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup second race. Alex and I will be bringing that to you. And then we'll have time attack. Then we get right into, shortly after that, the shootout. And then more time attack, then GLTC race 3, then some more time attack, and we've got the HPDE, the high performance driver education there. And then once again, last thing on the day will be the 4th and final race for the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. So a busy day tomorrow. Love to have you come and join us. It all starts at 9:30 Eastern time. It's been great. I'm Greg Creamer. Certainly for my partner here, Alex Moss, it's been fabulous. And to Abe and Adam as well, who did such a great job working on the time attack calls. It's been absolutely great. Weather's supposed to, we were thinking maybe rain tomorrow. Looks like that may have cleared out, so we may be in for another fabulous day of racing. I can't wait to do it. It's been a pleasure, Alex.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be a good day. Very much looking forward to it.
Likewise, likewise. All right, folks, whatever you do tonight, do it safely. And if you're in the area here, come on out tomorrow and have some fun with us. We're looking forward to it, and just take care.